Recreating a real-life house in The Sims 4 seems like a good idea in theory, but then when you actually try to do it, you realize that the scale is so off in The Sims and it's really difficult to actually make the floor plan work and the placement of the windows, the roof. However, I still want to at least try, and I found a really cool floor plan by Drummond House Plans, and it's a pretty big family home, and the thing that I like the most about it is this big porch in the front that has 2 staircases leading up to it. It also has a garage, but obviously we don't have cars in The Sims 4, so we're just gonna improvise a little bit. I decided to build this house on the 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek, and at the beginning I tried my best to follow the original floor plan, but very quickly realized that in The Sims, the house somehow turned out to be way more short like this, and I wasn't able to fit all of the rooms that the floor plan had. For example, it had a really nice sunroom right next to the living room. In The Sims, it basically would be only like 2 tiles long, and that's just not enough to make a proper sunroom. It just looked very off. And then when I got into the upstairs, I was like, okay, there's absolutely no way I can follow the original floor plan, so I just scratched that and made it on my own to fit my needs. When I finished this house, I have to say that I was really pleasantly surprised that I genuinely fell in love with the way this house turned out. It's not exactly the style that I normally build, but it fits just perfectly into my everyday gameplay, and I kind of see myself using this house somehow, somewhere in one of my future Sims households. I was really inspired by that picture that we just saw, so I decided to incorporate that beige and gray color scheme throughout the whole house, and as an accent color I decided to add this grayish bluish shade. So in general, this house feels very neutral in the color scheme, but for me at least, it doesn't look boring, which is something that I really liked. I was afraid that it's gonna look, you know, like a sad beige mom house, but no, I feel like it has a little bit of a personality. It's a little bit on the modern scale, but it still feels very warm and family-like. It was also my first time ever trying to recreate a real-life house in The Sims, or at least first time on a video, and I maybe am gonna try to do this more often because it was super fun, and also it helped me with exploring styles that I don't normally reach for. It was just overall a really good challenge for me, and because of this I want to ask you guys if you also know some sort of fun build challenges that could help me with exploring different build styles. Because I realized there's a lot of build challenges that are a little bit more on the ridiculous side, like for example, build a house that looks like an animal or a pumpkin or something, but I want to try to build houses that I am still going to make at least some sense, and you could see a house like this in real life. But this house was just a perfect mix between creating yourself a fun challenge in The Sims, but also still making the house feel very realistic, and also most importantly usable for an average player. I've seen people do challenges like, oh, you need to make a full functional house in like 10 minutes, or make a black and white color challenge where you make all of the colors on your screen be black and white and try to make everything match. That could be a fun thing that I could do also. Now you're gonna notice that I am changing quite a lot of the floor plan because I realized that the stuff that I was trying to go for are just not going to work in The Sims 4, and I needed to make the floor plan feel more Sims appropriate. Recently in my personal life, I've also been noticing that ever since I started doing YouTube as my full-time job, which playing games has always been a huge hobby of mine, now it no longer really feels like a hobby, it's a job for me. So I was trying to think of other hobbies that I used to do but maybe have abandoned for various reasons or just didn't have time time. But now as an adult, I feel like I not only have the time to do certain things, but also the money, because a lot of hobbies require you to have money. For example, when I was like, I don't know, 23, 24, I really wanted to learn how to crochet, and I did start learning it, but at some point I realized that yarn is extremely expensive, and basically I'm not gonna be able to continue that hobby because I don't have enough money to constantly buy yarn. And I decided to make myself a list in a notebook of all of the hobbies that I either abandoned or have always wanted to do but never really had the time or the money to do so. And I think I want to focus maybe the next couple of months, maybe the next entire year, on just trying to reconnect with my hobbies and do more things in my private life that are just there to make me happy. They're not necessarily there to make me feel productive or healthy, whatever it is. I just want to do more things for fun. And if they also just so happen to make me more healthy, you know, I'm not gonna complain about that. Speaking of which, one of the hobbies that I used to have was running. And it says a lot because I actually really hate running, but because I was working so much on being a better runner, in the process I somehow started enjoying it, even though I also hated it at the same time. Isn't that a thing with all hobbies, that yes, we love them, but we also low-key hate them and we would do anything to not do them? I believe that I started running when I was 23 again. Oh, I'm noticing a pattern that maybe my age 23 to 24 was just like a year where a lot of things were abandoned in my life. But I used to run every single Sunday. It was my routine where after an entire week of working, I had finally that one Sunday off. So I would just go in the morning for a run, and then I would not do anything for an entire day. Kind of felt amazing, kind of felt great. I really loved seeing the progress that I made because I started running, I believe, in February maybe, and I was running up until the next spring, so for over a year. It was kind of crazy to see that at the beginning it was difficult for me to run for even like 15 minutes straight, but then after that entire year I was able to run for like an entire hour and I wasn't out of breath or anything after that. I feel like it's also one of those hobbies that because it's so intense, you make a lot of progress really, really fast. So I noticed that I'm able to run more and also faster literally every single week, even though I was running only once a week. So I'm trying to think, if I was running more often, I guess how much progress I would make. I don't know, but I didn't want to test that out because the goal wasn't for me to run a lot. It was just for me to move my body, leave the house, breathe some fresh air. And unfortunately, I had to stop running at some point because, well, first of all, I kind of ruined my hip when I moved away for my master's degree because I was renting a room back then, and well, the room conditions were not the best. The mattress that I had for my bed was this thin. So it was amazing. And basically one night when I was sleeping, I guess somehow I fell asleep on my side and I put like my hips in such a weird position that my entire body weight was on my left hip. When I woke up, I kid you not, I could not stand. I literally could not stand. I felt like my hip was just completely busted, and it was, in fact. I was having so many issues trying to just walk to my classes in university, and I basically needed to rapidly stop running, and I gave myself like a month to heal, and then after a month I decided to go on a run again. Kind of ruined my hip all over again. Ever since then, I unfortunately have been having slight hip problems after just one night in like a really uncomfortable bed. That's just insane. However, because it has been over like 4 years ago, I'm kind of hoping that if I were to start running again, maybe it wouldn't be that intense. I also feel like it was probably connected to a lot of the tension in my muscles that I've had because I also wasn't able to properly stretch anymore anymore because my room was so small that there was basically nothing except for a bed, a desk, and then a wardrobe, all really cramped up. It was basically so narrow that whenever I tried to vacuum my room, I literally had to put the vacuum cleaner either under my desk or on my bed because it didn't fit anywhere. But now is a couple of years later and I have way more room in this house. I could try to start running again. I feel like I would start very slow though, maybe like 10-minute weekly run and then try to work my way up. But also I'm not sure how my hip is gonna handle that. And also this may sound really stupid because I always hear people be like, no, you don't need any equipment just to start running, but like you kind of do. You need to have some sort of clothes to run in, and the only clothes that I have that are sporty is a sports bra and some leggings. And well, first of all, it's fall, so I'm not gonna be running in just a sports bra because I will probably get sick. And also, I don't know about you, but I feel very uncomfortable being outside in leggings. I just really feel weird when I have that mentality that, oh, people can see, like, you know, my booty jiggle. I don't feel comfortable about that, you know? So I need to probably get myself some sort of sporty joggers and maybe like a polar to put on top so that I can comfortably run and I'm not gonna be freezing. I still have some other equipment. Like I have my running shoes. I also have like a pouch that I used to always have on me to just put my keys in there. I just want to do more things simply for myself, just to enjoy life and also keep myself healthy. Another thing that I have always been doing, I actually haven't abandoned that hobby, is reading. I read a lot of books. Some of you may know I actually have a book channel, but I don't really post on it because I noticed that it's difficult for me to keep up both my main YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, and also my second channel, especially since I do edit all of my videos. But ideally, in an ideal world, I would be able to post regularly over there because I do love books. I read quite a bit of it. In one of my previous videos, I've talked about how I am currently in the process of rereading the Percy Jackson books. I just finished reading The Last Olympian. Also, a different book that I finished was Vengeful. Vengeful is a sequel to Vicious. These are completely two different types of books because even though both of them are fantasy, but Percy Jackson's way more lighthearted, both for kids and adults. And then Vicious is just, it's brutal. I would never tell a child that they can read that. Look up trigger warnings for it, because even though I love the story, but even I sometimes felt uneasy because there's a lot of different topics that are brought up that can make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. However, I still loved the duology. And I also want to ask you guys, what are your hobbies? Do you also have something that you have started doing long ago, but for various reasons you had to abandon and now you kind of miss it? I have quite a lot of these types of hobbies. I just in general am the type of person that I would love to do so many different things, but I either A, don't have the time, or I'm not in the mental space to be able to pick new stuff up. But because of my job and my lifestyle, I'm finally in the right place to just explore all of those things again and just have fun in life. I want my next year to just be focused on rediscovering and also discovering new hobbies. I'm not really a New Year's resolutions type of person, but I will admit that I always try to have some sort of theme, quote unquote, for my years. And it started back when I was 23. Oh my god. My age of 23, I think it was just like the most groundbreaking because so many things happened back then. I feel like I have 3 stages of my life. Before I turned 23, then from like age 23 to 26, and then 26 and above. Just completely different people, 3 different people in one lifetime. I believe I started off by just wanting to take care of my mental health. Then it kind of evolved into, for example, doing things that I've always wanted to do, which, for example, that included me moving across the country for a year. You know what? Now that I think about it, my life was kind of crazy. No wonder why I feel like I was just a different person at age 23 to 25. I also had a year where I really tried to work on friendships and just in general be a better friend. I was learning quite a lot about communication between people and how to communicate my needs and wants better. And I think this year is going to be my hobbies year. Highly recommend doing something like that for yourself, because then you don't have specific New Year's resolutions. I also just in general feel like a new year is not necessarily the right time to start something new. You should be able to start something new just because, without the time limitation / pressure. But when you have like a theme for an entire year, then you have it always just at the back of your head. And even if you do just a tiny little bit of progress, you're still gonna feel like you've achieved something. And I also that way am able to differentiate every single year better, because I feel like, oh, this year I was focusing on this. This year I have accomplished this. I think I've rambled quite a lot already, so let's maybe go back to the build. Right now we're working on the garage, I guess, area the original house plan had, but I decided to make this just specifically a home gym and also a skill room. There's a lot of gym equipment, some yoga mats, and also a woodworking station. I specifically made this place feel very raw, quote unquote, with almost no decorations, because it felt the most realistic. And also I didn't want to put curtains in the home gym because it just didn't feel right to have those. I don't know. On the outside, I literally only have added a pool because I didn't really know what else to do here, and I tried to add some planter boxes, but at the end I scratched that idea up. I didn't even put a grill outside. That feels like a crime. I always have some sort of grilling stations for my Sims. I definitely imagine that the family that lives in this house is quite wealthy. I mean, they have a at-home gym and a swimming pool. If that doesn't scream wealth, I don't know what does. We also have 4 bedrooms. One is an adult's bedroom, one infant, kid, and also a teen. I especially love the kids' rooms. One is more pink, feminine one, and the other one I try to keep gender neutral, but I really like the pink one, especially the pink one. We're gonna get into it at the end of the speed build, but I just really wanted to use that one pink bed. I don't remember from which pack it was, but I wanted to center the whole room around this one item, and I really managed to pull the whole color scheme off. Also, you may notice that the entire house has this one paint color, which I do like doing that quite a lot because it helps me with the overall color scheme of the house, and I try to incorporate different colors through furniture. For example, the infant's bedroom, you saw that I've added a lot of different blue details and toys, and even though the walls were very white, they're going to look drastically different than the adult bedroom that we're doing right now. We have a very neutral color scheme. I would even dare to say that the bedroom turned out to be quite minimalistic, and I really like the way it looks. As I said, I really need to put that house somewhere in one of my saves because I just ended up really liking it. Maybe I'm gonna add this house to my Twitch legacy save. I don't know if one of my Sim siblings is gonna live here. Definitely someone has to because it's just so nice. The teen bedroom, on the other hand, has this more of a minty color scheme because I really wanted to use that, I think it's high school years bed in this specific swatch because I never use it. it. And also, I really like how spacious the bedrooms feel without being too big. They just have that perfect amount of space in them that if you want, you can add some sort of skill building object. But if you don't, you still are easily able to fill in the space with like a desk, the bed, the wardrobe. Because I often catch myself making bedrooms that are either too small where I barely am able to fit the necessities, or it's too big where I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't know what else to put in this bedroom, but somehow in this house, everything just worked so perfectly. The bedroom that I like the most is definitely the more feminine one. There is this, I don't know what this character is on the bed sheets, but I felt really inspired by this, and I imagine that maybe the bed sheets are literally the sim themselves printed as like a little anime character. I don't know, I just really like adding these stories in my head. It helps me a lot with thinking who would live in a house like this and what type of stuff they would need to have on the inside. And you know what? If I was a little girl, I would love to have this bedroom. I remember that my childhood bedroom had this baby pink color on the walls, but definitely did not look as cute as this one. And we are almost at the very end of this speed build, so I'm going to show you around, give you a proper tour, and we can compare it with the original floor plan that I based this house off of. As you can see, there are some differences. Like, for example, it turned out that over here allegedly there is a door, or at least that's what the floor plan suggests, even though I really didn't see that door over here, so we don't have a door in this space. But also, I don't even think it really needs it, because if we look at it from the inside, this entrance would be blocked by the treadmill. We have a pretty simple landscaping. I tried to use a lot of these hedges, and most of the stuff is just very green except for the orange color accents. I also use these base game blinds as shutters, and I genuinely really like the way they turned out. So if we look at the house from the inside, we first of all have a nice entryway with a wardrobe and a mirror. Where are my stairs? Wait, the stairs got deleted? Okay, let me just try to squeeze this in here. Oh, thankfully I didn't put it on the gallery yet. So on the right side, we have a big office with a computer and also some chess table. On the left, there is a nice living room. Over here, there is a really nice big kitchen with this bluish grayish color accent. This is exactly what I meant when I tried to decorate this house. In this spot, we have a dining room with a little toddler chair in case you need it. Here is bathroom number 1. This is actually the biggest one, I believe, with a nice walk-in shower. The skill room slash home gym. Upstairs, the hallway is pretty long and narrow. We have 2 other bathrooms. Here is the infant's room. The very simple, minimalistic, but still adorable master bedroom. The teen's room with some clothes on the floor. And my favorite bedroom, the pinkish feminine one. It's just so cute. I also really wanted to use this Sakura dresser. It does use quite a bit of packs because it's literally 2 whole pages. I even use holiday celebration pack. I don't even know where I did that. And as always, I am putting this on the gallery under the name Classy Family Home, and my username on the gallery is katodeling. It's also always written in the description in case you forget. Even though I didn't end up recreating this house 100% accurate to the original house plan, I'm still really satisfied with the end result, and I can't wait until I'm gonna put it in one of my Sims saves. Let me know what other challenges you love seeing in The Sims 4, and who knows, maybe I'm gonna try one of them in the future myself.